Ottawa, the Ontario government has formerly requested $200 million from the federal government to cover costs associated with asylum seekers from the United States. Lisa MacLeod, Ontario's Minister for Children, Community and Social Services, sent a letter Thursday demanding financial compensation and expressing concern over the federal government's efforts in managing the issue of illegal border crossing. Ontario Minister of Children, Community and Social Services Lisa MacLeod warned Ottawa earlier this week while appearing before a House of Commons Immigration Committee that the request would be made. Chris Young, the Canadian Press file photo. In the letter, MacLeod, who is also responsible for immigration, said that for over a year Ontario has been straining to support border crossers and that the Liberal government's approach is now testing the patience and generosity of Ontarians. The letter to Social Development Minister Jean-Yves Duclos says federal support has been inadequate to meet the current and future needs posed by this crisis. MacLeod asked Duclos to consider the letter a formal request for direct and full compensation for the costs associated with the support Ontario and its municipalities are providing. Article continued below. Speaking to reporters at the Ontario Legislature, MacLeod said the costs are growing and it's time the federal government made Ontario whole financially. Read more. Goodale balks at expanding pact that restricts asylum from U.S.'s Canada in the midst of a refugee crisis. Experts say it's important to keep things in perspective. Ford says Horwath attacking him as a radical extremist is the pot calling the kettle black, as she had warned Ottawa earlier this week, while appearing before a House of Commons Immigration Committee, that the request would come. MacLeod says the $200 million figure breaks down as follows: $74 million for shelter costs for the City of Toronto, $12 million for shelter costs for the City of Ottawa, $90 million for social assistance costs her ministry is footing, $20 million for education and $3 million for the Red Cross, which has also helped with temporary housing. Article continued below. So far the federal government has offered $50 million to provinces, including $36 million for Quebec, $3 million for Manitoba and $11 million for Ontario. Immigration Minister Ahmed Hussein and Bill Blair, the minister responsible for border security, were copied on the letter from MacLeod. Hussein's office said in a statement that it had received the request. Matthew Genest, a spokesman for Hussein, added the government stands ready to work with Ontario, saying that following Canadian laws and respecting international obligations as they relate to asylum seekers is not an option, it's a requirement. It is disappointing that the Ontario government has decided to view this as a choice, and is playing politics on this issue by spreading disinformation about a vulnerable group of people. Hussein's office also said efforts are underway to contract hotels to provide immediate, short-term lodging to the approximately 540 people currently housed in college dorms. Hotel rooms will be booked until the end of September, and many families will then move out and find more permanent housing as they await the hearing of their claims, Genest said. Senior government officials during a briefing Thursday that the Immigration Department will be responsible for locating, booking and paying for the hotel rooms. Genest said the plan is to put a triage system in place that will help manage the flow of asylum seekers to different municipalities. A City of Toronto official said the number of asylum claimants in the Humber College and Centennial College residences changes daily. The residences can house up to 800 people, the number MacLeod frequently cites. In Ontario's Peel region, which encompasses Brampton, Caledon and Mississauga, 31 rooms in hotels and motels have been committed to house refugee families and individuals. Currently there are 26 families, or 77 individuals, in hotels. Peel has offered to help these families find permanent housing and connect them with settlement agencies.